So, the age of AI is officially here. And let's be honest, it feels like we're all standing at this massive crossroads. One path is glowing with the promise of incredible progress, and the other, well, it looks pretty scary, full of fears about what we might lose. Today, we're going to try and navigate this whole revolution with a guide who's right in the middle of it all, entrepreneur and investor Reid Hoffman. Let's break down his vision for where we're headed.
Okay, let's just get right to the biggest fear on the table, the one that keeps people up at night. The idea that once we hit AGI, artificial general intelligence, the only thing that's going to matter is capital. That if you don't own the machines, you're just left behind, creating a permanent underclass. It's a pretty grim dystopian picture, but is that really where we're headed?
Hoffman's answer is a firm no. He argues that we're getting it wrong if we see technology as this unstoppable force for inequality. It's a tool, and that tool can be used to break down class barriers just as easily as it can build them up. His favorite example? Just imagine if every single person, no matter where they're from, had access to their own personal AI tutor. A super tutor available 24/7. Now that could be one of the most powerful engines for upward mobility we've ever seen. The whole point is, it all comes down to the choices we make and how we build this stuff.
So what exactly is this new revolution? Well, according to Hoffman, it's way more than just a software update. We're talking about a societal shift on the same scale as the biggest transformations in human history.
The core metaphor Hoffman uses is the cognitive industrial revolution. Just think about that for a second. The first industrial revolution scaled up physical labor, with steam engines and factories. This new revolution is going to scale up cognitive labor, thinking work. He makes this amazing point that Britain didn't actually invent the Industrial Revolution, but by being the first to truly embrace it, this tiny island nation built an empire that lasted a century. The stakes, he's saying, are just as high today.
So how does this massive revolution actually show up in our day-to-day lives? It all comes down to one incredibly powerful new tool, the personal AI agent. Get ready, because this is about to become the main way we interact with, well, pretty much everything in the digital world.
Now, an agent is so much more than a search engine. You don't just type in a few keywords. You give it a job to do. You prompt it. You might say, hey, summarize this complex political issue for me, but I want you to give me the perspectives from Asia, Africa, and Europe. It then goes off and acts like your personal researcher, sifting through all the noise online, talking to other AIs, and bringing you back a single, coherent, multifaceted answer. The new skill we all have to learn isn't searching, it's prompting.
But all this power creates one of the biggest challenges we're going to face: memory. As you use your agent, it learns everything about you, your history, what you like, even the shorthand you use. This memory makes it incredibly useful, but it also builds this huge data moat for the AI company. It makes it really, really hard to ever switch to a competitor. And here's where it gets tricky. What happens when you bring that personal agent to work? It starts learning all the company's secrets. So, who owns that memory? Can you take it with you when you quit? These are some seriously thorny questions with no easy answers yet. And this idea of agents at work leads us straight to the question that's on literally everyone's mind. What is this going to do to my job?
You've probably seen this term bouncing around online. It went totally viral. The idea that AI is coming for all the knowledge workers, leading to these massive layoffs. It's a really pessimistic and, frankly, a terrifying way to look at the future. But Hoffman offers a completely different take. He argues that the most critical human skill from here on out is something called metacognition. Look, an AI can generate code, it can write a first draft, it can analyze tons of data, but what it can't do is apply common sense. It has no real judgment. It doesn't actually know when it's messing up. That's our job now. We become the editors, the directors, applying that crucial layer of human oversight to guide the AI and to own that final polished result.
So the future he sees isn't about fewer jobs, it's about human amplification. The job that's going away isn't your job, it's the version of your job that doesn't use AI. The new normal is going to be one person working with a whole swarm of AI agents. You might use one agent to brainstorm an idea and then have another one critique it. This just unlocks insane levels of productivity, and it makes it possible to go after projects that were never even economically possible before. Okay, so now let's zoom out, because this isn't just about our personal careers. The development of AI has become the main arena for a new, incredibly high-stakes global competition. According to Hoffman, this is the single most important thing to understand about the geopolitics of AI. We hear all this talk about computer chips and hardware, but the hardware is only important because of what it enables. The real prize, the thing everyone is racing for, is dominance in AI software.
The society whose AI becomes the standard for industry and work, well, they're going to have a massive advantage for decades.
This is exactly why the U.S. chip strategy is so nuanced. It's not a total blockade. The goal is to restrict the sale of the absolute best, most cutting-edge chips to competitors, like China. That slows them down, makes it harder for them to train the most powerful models. But at the very same time, the U.S. allows the sale of the previous generation of chips. Why would they do that? Because it makes it economically much harder for China to justify spending the billions and billions of dollars it would take to build a rival chip industry from scratch. It's a very strategic game.
And you see this same strategic thinking when it comes to open source models. US labs, for the most part, keep their most powerful, cutting-edge models proprietary. They keep them closed. This lets them manage safety and alignment much more closely, trying to reduce risks like an AI helping someone with bioterrorism. China, on the other hand, is being super aggressive with open sourcing its models. It's a classic scorched earth strategy you see when a competitor is trying to close a gap fast. All right, let's bring this all home and look at the highest possible stakes. Because at the end of the day, this isn't just about jobs or geopolitics, it's about the future of humanity itself.
Hoffman lays out this really fascinating way to think about the ultimate dangers and promises of AI. He calls it our existential risk portfolio.
Here's how it works. On one side of the ledger, yes, by creating advanced AI, we are absolutely adding a new, scary risk to our planetary portfolio. The whole Terminator scenario. It's a real risk. But, and this is the key, AI is also our single best defense against all the other existential risks we're already facing. I mean, think about using AI to design a vaccine for a new pandemic in weeks instead of years, or using it to track a civilization-ending asteroid with enough time to actually do something about it. From that perspective, building AI, even with all its risks, might actually reduce our total overall existential threat.
And that's the question we'll leave you with. It kind of reframes the entire debate, doesn't it? The choice might not be between safety and risk. It might be about deciding which set of risks we're more willing to take on. And that's the real challenge we all face at this new crossroads.